There's a lot of times you disagree with the concept of a scene, the writing, the directing. My rule of thumb on it is the director is supposed to be the captain.
Charlton Heston wasn't just an actor, he was a symbol of strength, conviction, and enduring artistry. But what really happened behind the camera? While the world saw a Hollywood legend, his family knew a man shaped by personal sacrifice, profound love, and relentless determination. As they open up about the untold chapters of his life, we discover the extraordinary journey of a star who left an indelible mark not just on film, but on history itself. Early life. Charlton Heston's early years shaped the man who would become one of Hollywood's most iconic stars. Born John Charles Carter in 1924 in Wilmette, Illinois, he spent much of his childhood surrounded by nature. His family later moved to St. Helens, Michigan, where over 4,000 acres of forest became his playground. In this rural haven, young Charlton explored the woods, lakes, and streams, fostering a deep connection with the natural world. As a child, Charlton was quiet and reflective. While other kids played boisterously, he preferred the calm of the forest. He often accompanied his father on long walks, studying animal tracks and trees. The solitude of nature fueled his imagination, offering a sense of wonder and peace. This idyllic life changed suddenly when his parents divorced at the age of 10. His mother remarried a man named Chester Heston, and Charlton took his stepfather's surname. The family returned to Wilmette, uprooting him from the countryside he loved. Adjusting to a new home and a blended family was difficult. At school, he felt out of place and longed for a way to redefine himself. During this challenging time, Charlton found his calling. A school play introduced him to the magic of acting, and he was instantly captivated. The stage became his escape, a place where he could channel his creativity and find the sense of belonging he needed. Acting gave him the confidence to embrace a new identity, transforming him from a shy boy into a determined performer. What started as a hobby quickly grew into a lifelong passion. Through acting, Charlton discovered a world where he could be anyone, a hero, a leader, or a legend. Finding love and purpose. Through acting. Charlton Heston's love for acting grew stronger during his teenage years. At Northwestern University, a drama scholarship gave him the chance to develop his skills. His talent quickly set him apart. He dedicated countless hours to perfecting his craft, treating every rehearsal as an opportunity to improve. Unlike many young actors who relied on instinct, Heston approached acting with discipline and focus. His professors noticed his serious attitude and praised his determination. His athletic build also drew attention. He often played varsity football players in campus productions, but theater wasn't the only place where his life changed forever. In 1947, he met Lydia Clark, a fellow student and aspiring actress. The moment he saw her, he was captivated. Determined to win her over, he began pursuing her with single-minded passion. Lydia, however, was not easily convinced. She turned him down repeatedly, despite his persistent efforts. Charlton didn't give up. Over time, his unwavering determination paid off. Just before graduation, Lydia finally agreed to give him a chance. With World War II looming, the couple knew their time together might be brief. Charlton, facing the draft, wrote Lydia a heartfelt letter declaring his love. Her reply was the answer he had been waiting for. On March 14, 1944, the two were married in a small chapel in North Carolina, just as Charlton prepared to enter military service. Though the war separated them early in their marriage, their bond remained strong. Hollywood journey begins on Broadway. After Charlton Heston returned from military service, he and Lydia focused on their shared dream of acting. The young couple faced harsh realities, struggling to survive in New York City. They worked odd jobs and even posed as nude models for art classes to pay the rent. In 1947, they used their savings to move to Asheville, North Carolina, where they opened their own theater company. Their venture, the Charlotte Playhouse, folded within months due to low attendance and financial losses. Despite this failure, the experience reignited their passion for acting. Determined to try again, they returned to New York in 1948 with a renewed sense of purpose. Charlton decided to reinvent himself, adopting his iconic stage name by combining his mother's maiden name with his stepfather's surname. Heston's early efforts on Broadway were marked by struggle and small victories. Each minor role brought him closer to his goals. His performance as Mark Antony in Julius Caesar earned critical praise and caught the attention of CBS. They cast him in a live television adaptation of the play, showcasing his talent to a wider audience. This TV role drew the interest of director Hal B. Wallace, who cast Heston in the 1950 film Dark City. The movie didn't succeed at the box office, but critics recognized Heston's potential as a leading man. Among those impressed was legendary director Cecil B. DeMille. DeMille was auditioning actors for The Greatest Show on Earth, a drama about the Ringling Brothers Circus. Initially, he was unsure about Heston, believing his role in Dark City seemed too harsh. But a chance meeting on the Paramount lot changed everything. DeMille noticed Heston's warm smile and commanding presence and quickly saw his potential. Sketches of Heston with a beard revealed a striking resemblance to Michelangelo's sculpture of Moses, convincing DeMille to cast him in The Ten Commandments, the role of a lifetime. The Ten Commandments became a massive success. It was Paramount's highest-grossing film of the year and won several Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Heston's portrayal of Moses solidified his status as a Hollywood icon and cemented his partnership with DeMille. Heston's preparation for the role was intense. He studied passages from the Old Testament to better understand Moses' character. He even performed scenes barefoot on sharp rocks to capture the humility of the biblical leader. His dedication paid off, earning him praise for his authenticity and commitment. The role of Moses not only elevated Heston's career, but also defined his legacy. His performance, marked by both physical and emotional depth, ensured his place among Hollywood's greatest leading men. Ups and downs of professional relationships. Charlton Heston's career spanned over 6 decades, filled with diverse professional relationships. While he was respected for his talent and professionalism, not every partnership went smoothly. Even Heston, known for his gentlemanly demeanor, occasionally clashed with co-stars. Studio pressures and creative differences often turned minor disagreements into full-blown tensions. One such conflict arose during the filming of El Cid in 1961. Heston starred opposite Sophia Loren, a major Italian actress celebrated for films like Houseboat and Two Women. From the start, their working relationship was rocky. Loren pushed for changes to expand her character's role and demanded a schedule that suited her limited availability. She also requested dialogue translations and a salary equal to Heston's. These demands created friction that only grew as production continued. The tension spilled over into their performances. Heston later revealed that he avoided looking directly at Loren during love scenes, choosing instead to focus on the horizon. Their relationship became so strained that Heston used a stand-in for intimate close-ups, avoiding direct interaction altogether. Despite the behind-the-scenes drama, El Cid became a major success. The film's epic scale and the stars' individual performances overshadowed their lack of on-screen chemistry. For Heston, the experience reinforced his unwillingness to tolerate what he viewed as unprofessional behavior. Lauren, on the other hand, had her own frustrations with the production. Problems with Yul Brynner. Tensions simmered on the set of The Ten Commandments between Charlton Heston and Yul Brynner. Heston, playing Moses, radiated authority and strength as the chosen prophet. Brynner, as Pharaoh Ramesses II, faced the challenge of matching that commanding presence despite being 5 feet 8 inches. Determined to hold his own, Brynner threw himself into a strict workout routine. He did push-ups and lifted weights between takes, working hard to build a powerful image. Cast members often saw him slipping away to keep up his intense regimen. The rivalry extended to their performances. Both actors vied for camera angles that highlighted their strengths. At first, their competition created tension on set, but over time, a mutual respect emerged. Brynner's effort paid off as he transformed his lean physique into a strong, imposing figure. His portrayal of Ramesses became iconic, shaping how audiences imagine the pharaoh to this day. Heston later admitted that Brynner's performance was the standout of the film. Their competition drove both actors to deliver their best work. What began as a clash of egos turned into a shared pursuit of excellence. Together, they created unforgettable performances that continue to captivate audiences and define cinematic history. Spotlight on personal life and marriage. Charlton Heston often said his greatest achievement wasn't in film, but in his marriage to Lydia Clark. In an industry where relationships rarely lasted, theirs stood as a shining exception. They faced highs and lows, enduring the intense pressures of fame. Their love story was rare, even in Hollywood. Together, they raised 2 children while managing Heston's demanding career. When he was away filming, often overseas, he wrote Lydia heartfelt letters. In them, he called her his muse and his safe haven. Lydia, in turn, nurtured their bond, keeping their connection strong despite the distance. As his fame grew and admirers surrounded him, Lydia remained his steady anchor. Their deep partnership was tested during difficult times. Lydia battled breast cancer, and Heston immediately stepped back from work to support her through treatment. Years later, when Heston faced prostate cancer, Lydia was by his side, helping him regain his strength. Their care for each other never wavered, even in the toughest moments. Heston once said, "I've hardly spent a day out of Lydia's sight since we married without feeling her love." Their relationship was built on passion, trust, and resilience. Behind-the-scenes revelations. Charlton Heston's most memorable moments weren't always on screen. Away from the cameras, his family saw a different side of him, one filled with warmth, humor, and love. His children, Fraser and Holly, often spoke about their father's playful and caring nature. To them, he wasn't the commanding figure the public knew, but a dad who told jokes, read bedtime stories, and listened to their dreams. At home, Charlton encouraged his kids with kindness, not the booming authority of his famous roles. Instead of parting seas, he danced awkwardly in the kitchen and sang off-key while doing chores. There was the public Heston, the powerful icon, and the private Heston, a devoted father with a light-hearted charm. Professionally, Charlton's colleagues sometimes glimpsed sides of him that didn't match his larger-than-life persona. During the filming of Ben-Hur, screenwriter Gore Vidal added hidden layers to the story, suggesting a romantic tension between Charlton's Judah Ben-Hur and Messala, his rival. Director William Wyler agreed with the idea, but decided not to tell Heston, knowing his traditional views might make him uncomfortable. Instead, Stephen Boyd, who played Messala, subtly incorporated this dynamic into his performance. Whether or not Heston noticed, It added depth to the film's emotional conflicts, though the subtext was lost on him. Even behind the scenes, Heston kept secrets of his own. In the Ten Commandments, he not only played Moses, but also voiced God's lines in a booming, commanding tone. The idea came from Heston himself, adding a new layer to his performance. But director Cecil B. DeMille feared audiences might find it odd that Moses and God had the same voice. To keep the illusion intact, DeMille claimed the voice belonged to an unknown English actor. This secret wasn't revealed until decades later, in a 1990s documentary. These stories show the many sides of Charlton Heston, an iconic figure who could command a screen, care deeply for his family, and still hold on to insecurities and mysteries. Family man at heart. Holly Heston Rochelle, Charlton Heston's daughter, often speaks about her father's devotion to family. While filming the Ten Commandments in Egypt, he kept a journal for his wife, Lydia, who stayed behind due to her pregnancy. Holly remembers it as the first time her parents had been apart since World War II. Charlton and Lydia's love story began at Northwestern University in a theater class. They knew right away they were meant to marry. The war separated them early in their relationship, with Heston serving in Alaska. When he returned, his Hollywood career quickly took off. Despite the pressures of fame, their bond remained unshaken. Over their 64-year marriage, they raised 2 children and built a happy home life. Holly recalls their family time fondly. They spent evenings reading, playing games, and watching movies together. Her parents took pride in raising children free from the scandals that often surrounded Hollywood families. Political activism. As Charlton Heston's fame grew, so did his political activism. He used his platform to support causes he believed in, no matter the controversy or risks to his career. In 1947, while still building his career on Broadway, Heston openly criticized Senator Joseph McCarthy's anti-communist campaigns. These witch hunts targeted actors and artists suspected of leftist views. At a time when Hollywood was gripped by fear and blacklisting, Heston spoke out against the injustice. His experience in World War II, where he saw the dangers of fascism, shaped his strong opposition to McCarthy's authoritarian tactics. Heston also built early connections with Democratic leaders like John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1963, he joined Martin Luther King Jr. at civil rights marches, becoming one of the first celebrities to publicly support equal rights for Black Americans. His involvement angered defenders of segregation, who viewed his actions as radical. But Heston believed segregation violated the freedoms Americans had fought and died for, regardless of race. At the March on Washington, Heston stood beside King and other leaders like Ralph Abernathy. Together, they marched to the Lincoln Memorial, highlighting the racial inequality that betrayed Lincoln's vision of freedom and justice. Evolution of beliefs and convictions. Charlton Heston's political beliefs didn't follow a straight path. Instead, they evolved over time, guided by his values and the shifting landscape around him. In the late 1950s and 1960s, he aligned with Democratic leaders and fought for civil rights. At the time, he was seen as a strong liberal voice in Hollywood. But the turbulence of the Vietnam War and the counterculture movements of the 1960s began to change his perspective. By 1972, Heston felt increasingly out of place in the Democratic Party. He grew drawn to conservative ideals that emphasized individual freedom, law and order, and traditional values. He believed these principles were under attack during the era's social upheaval. Heston enthusiastically supported Ronald Reagan's presidency in 1980. He saw Reagan's vision as a way to restore the values he felt had been eroded. His shift wasn't about loyalty to a party, but to his core beliefs. On issues like abortion and constitutional rights, Heston held firm, refusing to compromise. Having lived through McCarthyism and the Vietnam War, he distrusted government overreach and valued personal autonomy. Gun rights became a key issue for him later in life. While not initially a priority, his growing concern over government intrusion led him to strongly support the Second Amendment. By 1987, Heston officially registered as a Republican, solidifying his political transformation. From the 1990s until his death in 2008, Heston became a cultural icon for conservative causes. He championed free speech, religious freedom, and the right to bear arms. He also fought against what he saw as the rise of political correctness in culture and education. Bravery on and off screen. Courage defined Charlton Heston, both in the characters he played and in his real life. While he gained fame for his heroic roles, like battling pharaohs or standing against injustice, his true bravery often showed outside the spotlight. Heston's quiet pride in his World War II service spoke volumes. As a gunner and radio operator, he flew combat missions against fascist forces. He continued flying, even after losing comrades to enemy fire. Those experiences shaped his calm strength under pressure, a trait he carried throughout his life. During the Vietnam War, Heston took on a different mission. In 1965 and 1966, he used breaks between filming to visit soldiers on the front lines. Ignoring military escorts, he ventured into remote and dangerous areas to meet troops face to face. He listened to their stories, collected their names, and later reached out to their families back home. His goal was simple: to reassure loved ones that their soldiers were alive and not forgotten. In his later years, Heston faced battles of a more personal kind. Diagnosed with prostate cancer and Alzheimer's, he approached these challenges with quiet strength. He chose to share his diagnoses publicly, hoping to inspire others facing similar struggles. Even as his health declined, he attended events and showed gratitude to those who supported him. He made time for fans, always treating them with kindness. Unlike many public figures, Heston didn't hide his vulnerabilities. By openly sharing his struggles, he showed a different kind of courage. His honesty helped raise awareness and support for research. In his final years, his strength came not from heroics on screen, but from grace in the face of life's hardships. Through it all, he redefined what it means to be a true role model.